Thank you very much for clarifying the surname. I don't want to be marked on my way out here. And I think perhaps we should ask the Competition Commission to investigate the very unscrupulous and anti-competitive behavior of Bafana Bafana. I mean, it's unacceptable. Or maybe it's in the name, Sihle. I think we should change the name maybe from Bafana Bafana to something else. They're thinking very small. My presentation is very short, but very important. And it's quite often that when we speak about entrepreneurs, we speak about opportunities, when we speak about business, we often forget persons with disabilities. And what we, as the formerly known as the Sheltered Employment Factories, now known as Supported Employment Enterprises, what we specialize in, or what we do, is to shine the spotlight on people with disabilities. And the last presentation I made in Johannesburg, I said I'm here to talk about the best kept secret in government. And I think it still remains true even today, because the factories that I'm going to talk about have been in existence for over 70 years. And I know a lot of you would not know that. I was not born then. Please don't think that I was at the time when they were established. And they have been providing employment opportunities for persons with disabilities for that long. Currently, the factories are under the Department of Labor, and we've got 12 factories nationally. I don't know which button to press here, but I'll just speak to the presentation. We have been established in terms of, oh, this one, okay, thank you. The technology is failing me. Okay. Anyway, I think the presentations will be circulated. So, oh, there you go. We went too far. Okay, there we go. The Sheltered Employment Factories, known as SEF, were established in 1943, just after the Second World War, to provide employment opportunities to ex-servicemen and women who, because of their disabilities, could not acquire gainful employment in the labor market. The entity is currently under the Department of Labor and had undergone a transformation that has resulted in us now being known as the Supported Employment Enterprises. The act that reestablishes us is the Employment Services Act 4 of 2014, Chapter 6 to be specific, where our mandate is prescribed as the act as simply to provide work opportunities to persons with disabilities, and also to develop programs that will aid in the participation of persons with disabilities in the economy. We've got 12 factories, as I mentioned earlier, in 7 of the 9 provinces in South Africa. We actually have 2 factories in the Western Cape, in Ndabeni as well as in Epping. It's only in Limpopo and Mpumalanga where we are currently without facilities. We also have enjoyed good support from the Western Cape government with regards to the procurement of school furniture as well as hospital linen, where in the 2 factories that I've mentioned, primarily our biggest revenue comes from those 2 departments, where we manufacture school desks as well as office furniture, as well as linen and uniforms that are utilized in our public hospitals. Currently, the factories are employing just over 1,100 persons with disabilities, but we have the capacity to increase that number to around about 2,500 or about 3,000 people with disabilities. We we pride ourselves in what we are doing in terms of recruiting people with disabilities. And I think a lot of you who had dealt with special schools where learners with disabilities are often required to go and learn, you would know that the system sometimes fails the learners, where a lot of them, after their schooling years, are unable to get employment. So this factory is what we do as well in the factories, is that we have developed relationships with some of the special schools around where we've got factories to be able to recruit from the special schools and provide employment. But more so, it's not necessarily just for employment, but to provide opportunities that will enable the learners that are coming out of the special schools to be able to start their own businesses. The factories have got facilities that are able to train people with disabilities in woodworking as well as in textiles, as I said. We also do embroidery and screen printing, metal work where we manufacture metal safes, trailers, as well as gates. We do upholstery of couches and office chairs as well. And these are some of the products that we are manufacturing, and quite often when we show people what people with disabilities can do, they don't believe that this is actually made by persons with disabilities. About 4 or 5 years ago, we had a contract with Weatherlease where we were supplying some of this furniture in their retail shops. And you would have walked into the shop and not known that this was made by a person with disability. More so, since I mentioned that the factories manufacture school furniture, I think most of us actually utilize desks that were made in these factories without knowing that they were manufactured by people with disabilities. I mean, from 1943, manufacturing, I think everyone in the room has utilized the desk from these factories. These are some of the people that work in our factories. Very passionate about what they're doing, and very skilled as well in terms of producing the products that we make. And that's the last of what I had to say. Thank you.